I meant to get a different video out this month, although as some of you may know, YouTube generously decided to spit it back in my face. So for the sake of getting something out before the month is over, the Minecraft movie trailer dropped a few weeks ago. And boy did it. I mean, what can I say about this heaping mound that hasn't already been said? The off-putting look of real actors in an oversaturated CGI world. The vain attempts of trying to make these charming, blocky pixel creatures into uncanny nightmares. Jason Momoa as Randy Macho Man Savage, Barbie Dreamhouse Edition. And to top it all off, Jack Black in what might be his most unfitting role to date, but who cares, he's Jack Black, everybody loves the guy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the Ugly Sonic trailer looked better than this. At least with Ugly Sonic, it was just him that people took issue with. Okay, Gangster's Paradise was an odd song choice, but that's not what people were talking about when that trailer dropped. With this, on the other hand, there is so much being thrown at you competing for what can offend your eyes the most. And the fan backlash would be enough of a blow for Warner Brothers as is. But then you have your viewer base remaking the trailer to look more like the game it's based on. Not only showing what the filmmakers clearly should have gone for, but are completely capable of considering all the promo material made for the actual game. Although, in watching all these people take it upon themselves to better what we ended up with, it got me thinking. We're already kind of spoiled for choice on this. I mean, for as long as Minecraft has existed, the community's been pumping out what this movie aims to give us non-stop. Of course, there have been plenty of games whose fan bases have been making that kind of stuff for pretty much ever. But for Minecraft, when it came to it being something you would sit down and watch, it for the longest time was that way exclusively because of what the fans put out. So long, in fact, that this upcoming movie doesn't feel like the long-awaited adaptation people have been so desperately craving. It just feels like another fish in an endless sea of Minecraft-related content. And let's just say, there's probably much better game to catch. So for this video, I thought it might be fun to go over the many ways the Minecraft community has given us their own stuff that will more than likely make up for this movie should it end up sucking. According to an old 3D animation teacher of mine, Machinimas are animated films where everything is rendered in real time. Lighting, effects, all of that is on screen right away as opposed to being processed in later on. Moreover, they're usually made in game engines as those are the kinds of things that can pull that off. Now that's the technical way to describe it. What comes to my mind when I think of Machinimas, however, are films not made in game engines but rather games themselves. Ones where players would enact the scene while a hacked camera films them. Now if there was one game pretty much known for this kind of thing, it would have to be Halo. I mean, come on, Rooster Teeth was pretty much the first up to bat doing this. As a close runner-up, however, it would definitely have to be Minecraft. Hell, I first discovered what Machinimas even were with how many of them were done in Minecraft. And quite frankly, it's kind of insane I actually watched them. I mean, okay, I was like 10 and Minecraft was the biggest thing in the world. I'd pretty much watch anything with its name in the title.
I was about to show you my pic.
But even back then I thought, why do I keep clicking on these? You've probably noticed how the in-game characters are only capable of flailing their arms as they stare into the abyss. It's pretty much a problem with these kinds of Machinimas in general, really. They're animations where nobody animates anything. They control a character with a limited range of movements which more often than not are just slight variations of a ready-to-fuck-shit-up pose. As for facial animations, if you're smart enough to use a game that has them, you'll be lucky if the lips can sync with how automated they usually are. They more often than not make for a very boring watch experience with how static and recycled every single movement is. Sure, the writing itself could maybe pull through, but even then you're just watching it in spite of what's actually on screen being pretty lame. This was arguably the case for me with Minecraft too, because a lot of them went for a horror approach, and I was also into creepypastas back then. Rethinking it though, Machinimas made in Minecraft had an advantage over ones made in other games because Minecraft was a game about building things. And depending on exactly what you build paired with some good camera work, you can easily make up for how stiff your characters might end up looking. That is if you're asking me. And I have to make that clear because they're an acquired taste to say the least. Fancy set work isn't gonna do it for everyone if the characters themselves end up looking like robots. Most people will want them to look like people, and that's where my next two categories come in. with how the trailer turned out, it's pretty easy to understand why people are saying the movie should have been animated. Although I'd argue it pretty much is, because to say it's live action is basically the same as saying Spider-Verse 2 is live action because of that one scene with Donald Glover. Funnily enough, however, with everyone pointing to fan films as to where this film should have went, even a few of those went the live action route. And honestly, a lot of them could pull it off pretty well, or at least better than this movie could. With the live action stuff too, however, you're also getting into some sketchy territory with Minecraft fan content. For every full-hearted attempt of translating the idea into real life, you also have a bunch of that typical hand-waving for iPad kids. Sometimes literally in this case. But the people who were actually committed to it, they went all out. Those old Corridor Digital videos usually come to mind when I think of them. Set in this war-torn, zombie-infested city with two cardboard-adorned heroes trying to fight their way out. Yeah, you weren't meant to take them seriously, but the sheer grittiness and epic weight of them both made it hard not to get sucked in for the few minutes they lasted. It does make you wonder though, why does live action work here and not for the actual Minecraft movie? Well, to put it simply, these videos were actually live action. Everything you saw was actually in front of the camera with just a few effects here and there to get that blocky pixelated aesthetic down. I guess you could argue it's not really Minecraft since they don't take place in these fully blocky worlds, but if this is what you have to do to technically get that in live action, then I'd rather stick with these. This does beg the question though, could live action still have worked for this movie if they just went about it differently? Maybe, but not really. Don't get me wrong, these videos look far better than what we got with the trailer, but like I said, it isn't really Minecraft. I think these videos work best as experiments in live action if anything. They're fine as shorts, but as the official full-length movie based on the game, well, let's just say people's thoughts on the trailer are still pretty justified if you ask me. If they just had to go this direction though, like if a Warner Brothers exec was being held hostage and the only way to free him was by making the Minecraft movie live action somehow, then like the fan animations everyone are pointing to, the filmmakers would be wise to take note of the live action stuff sitting alongside them. Speaking of which though, at last, we have the tried and true, the diamond pickaxe of Minecraft fan content, if you will. I just realized that's the first relevant analogy I made in this video. I absolutely love Minecraft animations. In fact, as someone who, full disclosure, doesn't really play the game anymore, I've never lost interest in these videos. Hand-drawn, CGI, stop motion, which I didn't bother watching because it was too long. And unlike the live-action films or in-game machinimas I went over, animation allows for so many unique looks between all of them. Granted, most of the CGI ones usually stuck with the standard Minecraft look, but even simple things could make them stand out, like adding a weird talking egg or being one of the worst YouTube channels of all time. Also, yes, a lot of them were technically machinimas despite my very narrow definition of them. But if those aren't enough for you, just wait until you get into the 2D stuff. From Noob Adventures with its paper cutout aesthetic, to Epic Mind Quest with its over-the-top facial expressions, to Cass Vandepol's goofy warped character designs, absolutely everything was on the table when it came to visual style. It's also another reason why I say this upcoming movie just feels like something else being added to the pile. I mean, with the whole realism approach to the thing, ignoring the fact it doesn't actually look real at all, does give off the impression they were going for something that stood out from how the actual game looks. It doesn't really work in their favor though, since not only do so many of these animations already stand out from how the game looks, but even some of those go for realism. And admittedly, those ones look just as disturbing. Nonetheless, if you want to do Minecraft right, if you want to adapt it without forsaking its appeal and turning it into a hellish abomination, then this is how you do it. And there you have it. Just some of the many ways the Minecraft fanbase has already beat this film to the punch, and more than likely continue to overshadow it long after the film comes out. To some, I guess it might be discouraging that, let's face it, this movie's gonna be a success. The name alone is gonna get kids into seats. It doesn't matter how bad the film itself will probably end up being. For me though, this film can just go ahead and do what it wants. As long as videos like these exist, along with people willing to re-upload them, then that's enough for me. If you enjoyed the video, then please subscribe, leave a like, check out the channel, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Take care.